Greetings and salutations. My name is Tish, and welcome to the Artist Haven. In tonight's live stream, we're going to be talking about some things that we all go through, and as people, as human beings, as artists, as creatives, we all go through some growing pains. And right now on the channel, we're kind of going through some growing pains. So one of the things that we've added and are trying to transition to is Discord. So after we have a little bit of conversation, I'm going to go over how to sign up for Discord, how to get on the Artist Haven Discord server, and what we have to offer there for all you friendly folk. So without further ado, let me bring up two of my favorite people on this planet. That would be Miss Karen Peabody and, of course, Mr. Michael Sean Carter.
Hello.
Hello. So good to hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that I'm using my avatar tonight, but
Nope.
I just decided at last minute to jump on, and you know how things go.
Yeah. I know.
So happy Saturday. And hi,
Yeah.
Michael.
Karen,
Hi.
hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you joined us.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I am too. I'm so happy that you're back. I mean,
thank
I
you.
know you needed to take a break and regroup and regather, and
Yeah.
and this is kind of why I chose this topic is, we're growing as a channel, and we're faltering in some spaces, but we're growing in others. And, as artists, as humans, we all, face these growing pains, no Kirk Cameron included, but
Right.
what helped you get you through your process that you have gone through?
Well, I would say, and thanks for asking the question. I think that for me, I feel like as an artist, aren't we always going through growing pains? If you're a creator, I think, the barrier to creativity is stagnation and, sameness. And I think it's difficult. You really have to, it's not difficult, but it's work, it's energy to move past that.
Right.
And, right. And to just keep going forward. So I think that if you're really like connecting, or I'm only speaking for myself, I don't mean to make generalizations. For me as a person, and then that carries through to my art practice, I want to always be moving in a forward direction. And that always means trying something new. That is hard. That's painful. Trying new things is actually painful.
Yes.
Even though that's growth and that's good and that's positive, it's difficult because it takes things like courage and commitment and endurance, and just showing up.
And
So
throttling that fear, back into the back seat, just saying, "Whoa, Nelly, get back there where you belong."
I agree. And I think that's actually tough to do. I think that is actually where I struggle, because sometimes I have an idea and I want to get it out, but I'm afraid. And I'll procrastinate. I'll actually put that off. And I've done that there are certain ideas that I've had that I want to that I've wanted to act on, and I'll let it percolate back there for 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes. And I'm trying to not do that.
Right.
And that takes energy, like mental energy. You know what I mean?
No,
on top of like normal life.
I do. I just, having to, work a quote unquote real job and do the YouTube and then try and find time for art and trying to find time for my personal life, what little bit there is. And just, stay focused on a task when you have 15,000 other things going on. And it's a slight exaggeration, but you know, when you work in customer service, or you work a job where you're dealing with people, you have constant things being thrown at you, and then you think of something, oh shoot, I forgot to take the hamburger out for supper, or whatever the steaks.
No, I can totally relate to that.
And it's like, then you have to go run and do that, or text yourself the message so you remember.
Yeah.
So I think you nailed it right on the head. As creatives, as artists, whether you work in video, in digital, or in any kind of physical media, you're always having to grow, and you're always going through growing pains. But I think that's what makes us better artists, is you got to feel the pain in order to feel the love.
Yeah.
So
and I think for me, art is kind of like a multi-level experience for me, because it's like a safe space. It's a place where I come and I kind of decompress from my busy day. And it's a place where I'm learning. It's a place where I'm challenging myself. And I think, it's actually very easy to allow it to become a place where it can become a little bit of a like a complacency cave, in the sense that I can come down into my studio and do, the same thing night after night after night. But I find that gets boring. It just does. And then I need to I need to do something else. And how am I going to do that? And I think that's what we confront as creators, right? You find your comfort zone, and this feels really good for a while. And then it's like, well, I'm bored now, and I need to find something else. And how do I evolve?
Or incorporate something else.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And
go completely 180, go from physical media to digital media, or something like that. You can still bring your digital into the physical, or bring your, acrylic into your paper, or whatever you're doing into the other thing, and explore other things. So, but Michael, what do you think about, as a creative, or, going through growing pains, even just in life?
Yeah, growth is always going to be, a wonderful experience and a painful experience.
Right.
As we mature, we're always going to, find that, things that we were making happen in our lives are developing us. And it's exactly what Karen was saying. It's a growing process. You evolve. And whenever you decide to go one path, and then you're like, this was good for a while, but now, I need to go a different path. And I think we even, we saw that within the Artist Haven. Tish, you saw that whenever you were doing acrylic pours and everything. And we talked about this a little bit, like with back when Testing Tuesday was going on, and then Testing Tuesday kind of went a different direction, and you were getting inspired to do some different things, and some things that Karen was doing that you were sort of like, what, I think I'd really like to try that. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but that's just how we grow. To me, the biggest thing has been, I've been in technology all my life. I go back to where I've got, a grandfather that was in broadcasting, going back into the 50s. And my father, definitely, the relationship I had with my dad, I was always with my dad. I was always in broadcasting and a broadcasting brat. And you want to talk about growth and change. Technology has changed so much on where we're at now. It's just, it's phenomenal. People still to this day will ask about things, with local broadcast stations. And I'm like, people are getting their news, their weather, their sports off the internet.
Yeah.
They're getting their entertainment. If, even with local affiliates, ABC, CBS, NBC, if you missed Grey's Anatomy, hey, don't worry about it because you can stream it the next day.
So true.
Yeah. And so that's the change that we're seeing. And that's where we grow and kind of develop our patterns that way. I mean, I could go on and on about this, but it's definitely been challenging. I mean, right now we're talking about getting away from Facebook and developing more of a relationship with Discord. And oh, geez, we've got a lot of promise there to do a lot of things that we've talked about, but it's still, there's a lot of people that, change is tough. And even if you want to quote a Star Trek movie, Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, Kirk is talking to the Klingons at the end of the movie when they were having the big climactic end. He says, change is difficult. And, the plain fact that the humans and the Klingons were going to evolve together, and change is difficult. So those are the pains that we have. And I'll stop at this point. And
I'm really, first of all, I could not agree more with everything that you said. But I would just love to chime in and just express once again, I know I've expressed it on Discord, but I'm really glad and excited about your transition to Discord. I think it's a bold move, but I see a lot of activity and I see people making themselves right at home. And I just want to say, I think it was the right decision and I'm really glad you did it. And so that's a really good example of taking a risk. Yeah, evolving and going to the next level, because there's always a risk involved in that because you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. But this was a really good risk, and I think it's going to pay off. It's already paying off, I think. At least for me.
Honestly, for me, on a personal level, it's really freeing to get away from Facebook and not be subjected to all the ads all the time and feel guilty because I'm not watching other people's content all the time. I mean, if they pop up on my notifications, I add them to my watch later and I'll play them while I know this sounds awful, but I'll play them while I'm at work. I'll put my watch later list on and I'll listen, and occasionally I'll glance over, but I'm giving them the watch time. I'm not engaging with the content. I'll click the like if I get a minute. If I get a couple of minutes in between doing what I'm doing, I'll type a comment. But that's the best way to help other YouTubers or other content creators on any platform, is to watch their content, is to engage and watch it from beginning to end. If you can, there's some people out there that I can only handle so much. And I'm sure I'm one of those people for other people. We're not everybody's cup of tea. But being able to go to Discord and not have all the ads and not have to worry about, hey, I posted this, I know that everybody's going to see this. I don't have to put it on Facebook and hope that the 380 people or whatever the number is in Facebook sees it.
And that's part of the change. That is because Facebook has decided to change. And, looking at some of the chat, like Mark Zuckerberg is not going to be happy. Good. I hope he's not. I hope he's crying himself to sleep every night, in fear that Elon Musk is going to come along and put him out. And Twitter could come along and shut down Facebook. And
absolutely.
So that would be the growing pain right there for old Marky boy. But I think that that's it. You get people that come along and they say, you know what, I'm sick of this. We've got advertisements, we've got things that just the algorithms are working against us. Let's change this. And someone comes along and they create Discord, even though it may have been for different reasons at the time. But then we evolve and go that direction and try that out. I mean, there was a time that we all went to MySpace.
Yeah.
There was a time that we all did IRQ chatting. Those were huge things back in the day. Yeah.
That was my gig, man. I love messages and
Yahoo chat.
Yahoo groups. Yeah.
Good Lord.
I met a lot of great people, talked to and learned a lot of things, soap making and candle making and world religions. I was very into studying the different religions of the world and trying to find a common thread between all of them, and I want that for our group, not so much the religion part, but religion and politics are too heated. I don't want anybody fighting. I don't want anybody's feelings getting hurt, I don't want that, and those are usually the two ones that get us into trouble. So I ask you kindly, if you want to DM each other about it, cool. But you'll notice there is not a politics or a religion thing in there. But
we do want to say Happy Easter to those that are celebrating, and Passover. And
Passover and is it Ramadan, or is that over? Or is that end on Saturday?
That's over. Yeah.
I was gonna say I think it ended on Saturday morning. Morning.
That's another thing too. Is some people will just kind of stay behind and say, "Hey, I'm going to use a rotary phone because I feel comfortable with a rotary phone." It's like, oh, okay. Well, if landline works for you, and
right.
One ringy dingy. There you go. But that's it. Hey, I want to say hello to a few people in the chat. Let's not leave them out. Helen is here, of course. She is a true believer of Discord. Aloha, yay. Helen.
Hi, Helen.
And El Spicy's in the chat.
Yeah, I saw Spicy in there. Hey.
Spicy.
Yes, El Spicy. I love him.
Mike Van Doozy, Dreams of Steam. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Brother Mike. You badass. Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah. Brother Trey McElwain, Maxworld Entertainment, formerly AKA known as Axe in Our Comics. There's growth right there for you. Remember those days? Yeah. Hey guys, thank you for the compliments. This is a little something I threw on tonight.
Yeah.
I just thought
I'll let you know a secret. He wears it around the house all the time.
She's so full of shit. Wear it around the house.
My eyes are brown.
I wouldn't wear this around the house because I wouldn't want to get jacked up. I'd be like, the cat would jump on me, and then I'd be like, damn it! I had to wait forever to get this thing. And
they always know when you're wearing the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
They always know.
This is some kind of knockoff that I found, actually, but it's been fun. Yeah, the kind of.
Ginny says, I'm learning slowly, but really like Discord. So I think it's reminiscent of old message boards, really,
Oh, yeah.
And we have a ton of topics. I'm working on a marketplace so we can, buy things and sell things. Not just physical things, but services. Like if you're a photographer or whatever, and, you're in my area, I'm going to look you up, So,
Helen says, I'm waiting to be beamed up. I got beamed up and down so many times. That was my growing pain.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Trey says, non-com wearing captain's clothing. I'm going to tell you something. You want to talk about growing pains? He's talked about the pips that kind of designate your rank. Yeah. I have had, this makes the second time that I've placed an order to get something.
Oh, gosh.
And so we went out yesterday to help Tish get something taken care of, and the mail got delivered at 3:00. We showed up before 5, and there was nothing in the mailbox except one little letter, and there was supposed to be like 5 stuff in there, and my delivery of my things from California that I had custom ordered to be custom made. And Postal Service is like, oh, we don't know. we don't. Yeah, we delivered it. And it's like, no, you didn't. And they're like, yeah, we did. And they're like, well, someone must have been following them around, and they got into your mailbox and stole your stuff. And I'm like,
Oh,
that's ridiculous.
3 miles from town. No one is gonna walk out here,
I
drive
know.
out here. No one.
Yeah. And
If someone's gonna steal mail, it's gonna happen in town. Damn it.
yeah. And so it's like, goodness gracious. But yeah, that's just part of life. Sometimes the things don't get delivered and you just got to follow up on them. So that's
Yeah.
that's a growing pain that I'll
So guilty. I
I'll
got
work
my
on.
Amazon order today.
Tish got all her stuff.
And I feel so guilty for it.
oh, geez.
I don't.
Because I don't,
Don't feel bad.
I feel bad,
Yeah. It's not your fault.
But well, and there's a letter in there that I'm supposed to have that's fairly important, and
yeah, and it was certified mail.
Yeah,
and they're supposed to come to the door and have you sign for it, and they didn't do that. So,
Ooh.
yeah, the pain is going to be upon the USPS office.
Yep.
And yeah. Anyway, who else do we have in the chat?
Looks like Donna. I'm gonna butcher her last name, Panis.
Okay. Hello, Donna.
Camera now.
Hi, Donna.
Welcome.
I have to have a camera. Not for Discord.
Janice Pittman. Hello,
Crazy.
Janice.
Hi, Janice.
Helen says, I love the different rooms that you've created, Tish. Definitely inclusive because I creative write, crochet, paint pouring. Awesome to grow and see everyone's hidden talents. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think the only thing I forgot to add in there was candle making, because that's actually something that I did in the last pistachio. Is it
Psycho? Psycho YT?
I almost said
like
pistachio because the P and the O. That's my brain almost.
Tisho? I don't know.
Tisho?
I don't know. I'm seeing Psycho.
Yes, so am I. I could be like,
Get some clarification on that. Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
And I'm strolling through here. Marla Walker is here. Hello, Marla.
Is Marla here? Awesome.
Hi, Marla.
So, do we want to just go through the walkthrough real quick? It's not difficult. Discord is not difficult.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. If you have a question, please put it in the chat. Just put a Q, colon, and then your question. But we'll start off with a walkthrough, like an intro.
Home tab. Here we go. Okay, so I gotta kind of look away from the camera because I gotta put one screen. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay.
Real quick, I'm going to answer Helen. Helen was asking about the mail service. We are in an alternate rural route since we are in the county, and so they have different part-timers delivering mail for us. So that's the issue that we get in at times. Okay.
So once you go to discord.com, you're going to be asked, you're going to click the little login thing, and you click on create account. And here we are at the screen that says create account. So I'm going to do email theartisthaven@gmail.com. And I'm just going to do that. And we're going to make up a password. Okay. Date of birth. We'll do Christmas. Because Christmas is good.
Damn.
There we go. We're old enough. So continue. And so we just do this, and I'm not going to save this right now. We're going to do beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, beep. And we got to do the whole
picking out the planes.
Picking out the planes.
Wait a minute. I think that train was a plane. Look like I had some
Okay,
wings on it.
so here we are. Create your first Discord server. You don't have to do this. You just have an invite already. Join a server. So, and if you go, let me go into if you go into the description of this live stream, hang on, I clicked the wrong clicker. Okay, I gotta mute this really, really fast. I clicked the wrong clicker. Wait, there we go. So we're gonna copy and paste the Discord link. Copy, paste. Oh, it has expired. What? Okay, hang on. This is how we solve this.
And this is the pain.
Yeah, this is the pain because I set this up to not expire.
I'm going to say hello to Michelle. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
All right, so I'll have to go. Thank goodness vidIQ has a bulk edit button.
Mike says I got banned for showing my hidden talent.
Makes me wonder.
Well,
Okay,
you-
so
Right? Me too.
we'll set up a hidden room just for that talent.
special talent.
That's what we're going to call the room.
Special
My
talent.
my special talent.
So, you'll get this screen, and you'll get to come in and say howdy. Yes, this is an age-restricted channel, not because we're pornographic or anything like that, but we are encouraging artists, and some artists do nudes and do that kind of stuff. So, and we can get kind of silly and maybe not PG-13, maybe more rated R sometimes, but nothing dangerous, nothing, anything like that. So I always put an age restriction, and it's not going to be anything bad. So continue, please. So when you come in, the first thing you're going to want to do is complete the steps that it says. And I'm going to have to verify the email, which I can do that really super fast. On the other tab here, because it's not, it's still on that one. Okay. So verify your email. I got to pick the right account here. Here we go. All right, waiting for my stuff here. And it just says verify address for Discord. So we're going to verify the email. Okay, and close that down. Close that down. Okay, so it changed to verified. And you need to read and agree to the server rules. And it's pretty much just saying, you feel free to promote yourself, but keep pricing private. We don't want any competition, friendly or other. Well, friendly competition is fine, but nothing that includes money. So click the little box, click submit. And then this is where you'll be able to read all the things. You need to be at least a member for 10 minutes before you can send a message in the server, but we're not going to worry about that, because what you're going to want to do is right click on the Artist Haven, and you can click on message, I think. and you're gonna and I think you have to wait that 10 minutes. But yeah, see, it's maybe it'll let me. Hang on. Please let me in. And so we're going to send that by hitting enter. Oh, that's because, well, anyway, we'll go back here. So you got to be on for 10 minutes before you can do that. That's something that I forgot about. But we can take care of that right quick.
We can take a little bit of time and just say hello to a few people that have showed up in the chat. Dennis Ball, the Dennis Ball Show. Hello, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
So when you first join and you message me, then I will give you a role, which just means that if you're a member, you get membership access. If you are part of the Artapalooza crew that comes on to these live streams, then you'll get that status. Otherwise, if you're here for YouTube learning, you'll get the access to that. If you're here for, just hanging out at the Haven, you'll get that access. So we have different things for different people. But because I know who I am, I gave myself access as just a regular member. And you can see on the side here, we have a thing that says, if you're new to Discord. So, Zenny, at the top of the page, if you click this pinned message up here, if you click that, it will tell you all the things about Discord and all of that stuff that has to do with finding stuff. So there's sending messages in Discord, a beginner's guide to Discord. These are all articles. And then there's a couple of videos to learn about PC and Mac. And then there's one about mobile, because there is a mobile app. So and I kind of go over it a little bit, that this thing right here, this is called a category. And under each category, you can click and close them up. So you don't have to look at them all. So we can close them so it tidies it up. But you can also open it. And so we've got these here that are called channels. And there's text channels. My computer's being slow because I got too many things going. Let me close Discord. And you can't use all caps or you get a warning. Just letting you know.
Well, you can. You just get, yeah.
You'll get a warning.
I do it. Yeah,
you'll get soft banned.
Yeah, it's always giving me a warning. Yeah. Yeah, I like
Your
being bad.
attitude, Michael.
Yeah, I'm a bad boy on Discord. Discord
No,
bad
you just
boy.
say hello. Yeah. You just say hello in all caps. I mean,
I do. Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Absolutely.
So we've got everything. We've got introductions, general chat, let off some steam, which is your room to vent about whatever you need to vent about, and we're just going to smother you in love. Studio space is your way to get ideas, or like I shared some of the behind the scenes stuff of the rack that I'm building, or I built, and I'm putting stuff on it and getting things done. So I have everything within arm's reach. We have YouTube and acrylic painting, acrylic pouring, baking, cooking, cosplay, creative writing, digital art, fan films, furniture art, gaming, gardening, mixed media, oil painting, paper art, photography, resin work, sewing and needlework, soap and bath and body, steampunk, video editing, watercolors, and then also we have a channel for the Artist Haven videos. So if you want to catch up on your videos, they're all right here. This is all live streams right now, but this is also where when we do edited content, they'll show up. This is Haven Tribe videos. So if you have a new video that you want to share, this is the place to do it. And this is the only place that video links will be allowed. And please put a picture, your thumbnail, whatever that describes the video. Sometimes the thumbnail will come through like on ours, but sometimes it doesn't. So please just put a picture so we know what we're clicking on. Otherwise, and then we have the Artist Haven Twitter feed, which is, letting you know that we're live on Twitter or, whatever we decide to post. The color palette challenge, the weekly palettes will be in here instead of on Facebook. Just because I was posting them every week and only like 7 people would see them in a week. And I want you guys to be able to take part of this, so everything. I need a me emoji 6. I know me 6. I don't know if I'm going to rename. I got the ability where I can rename him, or I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll call him Falcor or something. But
Falcor, yeah. That's a great name. I love that.
But like Helen submitted her video, so this is where you go to watch other people's videos. This is also where you can submit your pictures of your finished art. And on Fridays, once I start getting people to start participating again, if you go back to last fall when we had a lot of people seeing the posts and engaging and putting their pictures up, I was making the live stream countdown of all of your guys' pictures. But I can't do that if I don't have pictures. So I want to do that, but it's hard to do that when they're not there. So because I'm not a member, I don't think I can see the live stream chat. I don't think I'll be allowed in the room. Yeah, all this stuff is locked. This is where we'll be hanging out. Like if I'm doing some behind the scenes stuff, you get to hang out and do some behind the scenes stuff. So it's just a cool, it's just like a message board. I mean, honestly, anytime you want to see, if you click on a channel and you want to see the pinned messages, this is just basically the rules of the channel are always going to be pinned to the top of the space. So say you want to talk to Angie or you want to talk to Karen. Some people have their DMs turned off, so you might have to friend request them first. And friend request, if I hear people spamming people with friend requests, I'm going to kindly ask you not to do that. And if you continue to do so, then I'm going to kick you. But or Michael will, or Andy. So we all have moderators duties. So oh, that's funny.
Oh, sugar.
Call him the bot. Oh, well, I have another bot that I'm going to add in here too. So, but feel free to post your pictures. Like I said, no pornographic kind of stuff, but if it's art and it's tastefully done, by all means do so. I'm not a prude, but some people are offended by things that are inappropriate, and I don't want to offend most people. So I don't know. Is there any questions or anything? Did I miss anything?
No, not that I saw. Mike Van Duzy put in their question : do I get tips?
Tips?
Yeah, I'm not for sure what he was talking about, but I like the way
like a waitress.
I guess maybe that's for his special talent.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
he's looking to earn tips. Maybe, Mike, I'll give you a tip. You know,
I can't take you anyway.
I got all kinds of tips.
So do I for cake decorating. I've got all kinds of stars and round and flower tips and rose petal tips.
Sounds like another room. Right there, you go. Cake
Oh, I
decorating.
did
Yeah.
do cake well,
So-
they have baking, but cake decorating is a whole other monster.
But a lot to explore on this server. So, and
Yes.
if you feel like you've got something you want to add, do so and just enjoy. And there's a lot of things that we'll be able to do. We'll add some other rooms, and maybe on some Saturday nights we'll watch some videos and have some watch parties.
Yep.
And that way we can because the cool thing about Discord is we can all come in and talk.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And then as we're watching the video, so that way we can do kind of our Mystery Theater 3000
Oh my
type
God,
of
that
things.
would be so fun.
Yeah. And
Dennis Ball Show has joined us.
yes, we were saying hello to him
Dennis.
earlier. Hello, Dennis.
So
I think a Mystery Science Theater would be pretty awesome for this group. I think it's just
Oh
going to
my
be a big hit.
Absolutely.
That's
so
my
much
projection.
Yes, we definitely have to do that on Discord because we would get so much in trouble on YouTube.
We would.
Oh my God. We would get flagged for copyright. We'd get flagged for profanity.
All
We'd get
the
flagged
things.
for all kinds of things.
All the things.
Oh, all the
I
things.
like Mike's response to the tips. Yeah, just a tip. That's all. Yeah, just a tip, just to see how it feels. Yeah, just little game I like to call just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Yeah, that's from a movie. But anyway,
But it's really
it's
good.
but movies, shows, little
I'm
vignettes.
looking forward to that. Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm digging it.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw. Okay, so
Yeehaw.
that's Discord. And if you make a mistake and you post something in the wrong thing, you can delete it. You can copy and paste it, move it to the different section, and no one's gonna fire you. You're good. Because I'll be honest, I'm still learning. I've been on Discord since 2019, I think 2018, somewhere in there. But I was on TubeBuddy and of course vidIQ, and I think I've been on Travis's Discord for quite some time, and of course Andy is. But I'm still new. I still if it wasn't for Andy saying how to do stuff via Twitter, mind you, he's do this and this. Oh, okay, I get it now. And it's just once you get the hang of it, it's just do what you need to do. I mean, if you want to stay on Facebook too, by all means. But I am closing the door on Facebook for the most part.
Okay, Terry Lechner asking, what is the invite for joining the site?
Let me give you the link.
Okay.
Let's see if this actually works.
See if we can maybe get it in the chat.
And let me unshare the screen because my computer is what are you doing to me?
Helen is saying to Mike, you're blowing on steam in your dreams.
Oh,
Is that what that says? I'm having a hard time reading that.
who said
But
that?
that's pretty good. I like that.
That is really good. Nice.
blowing on his dreams.
Yep.
Mm. I was just thinking of what Tish was saying earlier. The term tube buddy. Tube buddy. That's a great name for a site. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That to me sounds like something. Yeah. Hey, what did you do this weekend? Well, Saturday night I got on the TubeBuddy. Really? What tube buddy did you hook up with? Well,
Okay.
but anyway, that's not correct. Oh, I think I just got a warning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I said that. I said that all in caps.
You're gonna get kicked from the server. I have no control over that. That's the
Damn,
me.
I wish I had thought of that, Nate, too, buddy. Hey, getting tired of swiping right and left. Don't worry about it. Two buddies there.
Why is this?
Oh my gosh, it's just so good. It's like evoking. Honestly, I feel like it's something you would see in. Did you see? Is it Alternate Carbon on Netflix? I feel like it's. Am I even saying that right? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like the sci-fi series.
Sci-fi series, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it would be something I would see there. That's what it's like connecting me with right now. Tube buddy.
What was the and Tish, we watched an episode not too long ago. Black Mirror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Black
So
Mirror's got some, like if you
Oh.
haven't seen Black Mirror and it's a like a British
Really
publication, but it's a very dark Twilight Zone.
It is, and it really, honestly, those episodes really stick with me. They make me think.
Yeah, it messes with your brain. It's
It's
psychological.
It's like I start seeing Black
and
Mirror
talking about
real life.
technology, that's one of those things where changes in technology.
Yeah.
That kind of does mess with your brain, thinking like, that's a little scary.
Yes.
Hi,
yeah,
Terry.
and it's not too far away. I think that's the scariest thing about Black Mirror is that it's like 2 steps removed from right now.
I totally agree. And that's what really messes with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tish, are we cracking you up?
No, I'm just reading the chat because you guys are killing me in the chat. They're funny. Uh-oh. Mike's gotta go check on the Chihuahua.
Oh, I thought he said a chimichanga.
Well, that sounds really good.
That does sound really good, actually.
I can't have it though because it's a flour tortilla. So
I wonder if you can get that on Tube Buddy.
Stop.
Helen says with mayo.
I heart you, Helen. You are so funny.
For me, hold the mayo. Yeah.
I always like ranch dressing.
Ooh, yeah.
That's what she said.
Is that what she said?
I think ranch dressing goes with that.
I agree, man. Ranch does sound really good with that.
No,
I miss Chi-Chi's so much.
I can make the sweet cornbread though. I should make that for us one night because I can actually have that because it doesn't have flour in it. So,
ooh.
But Chihuahuas and Taco Bell and
ew.
Yeah.
I got food poisoning.
You guys good? Are you guys big Taco Bell fans?
No. He might be.
Okay.
He might be. I am.
Back in the day, it was cool, but now,
it's changed.
Yeah,
it has changed.
It's changed, and I have once again talking about growing pains. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think
I have my guts are.
No, I hear you, Mike. Totally. Yeah. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. It's just our digestive, things.
Yeah, Taco John's is no bueno.
All the above. Yeah. It's tough.
John's good, or like the local taco places and local Mexican restaurants. There was one in Coon Rapids that I used to go to, and I kid you not, they had a shrimp chimichanga that was like this big.
Oh, sounds nice.
It was like a 10-inch plate, and the thing took up from one end to the other end, and it was stuffed full of stuff, and it was so good.
with our local university, SIU Carbondale, we've got
Mhm.
Labambas. Labambas had those huge burritos that, when you get out of the bars at 2 a.m., you're going and getting
Yeah.
a big burrito at Labambas. Yeah. And so,
I love that. La
well,
Bambas.
and
Clara.
hello, Tish, Michael, and Clara Lawrence is saying the
Hello.
pulsating daffodil.
The pulsing daffodil.
Pulsing. I said pulsating, but
Pulsing
You-
daffodil.
yeah, because whenever you talk, your avatar
Oh.
it has a ring
Oh.
that
Oh, right.
that
Okay.
extends out. So she's saying the
Okay.
pulsing
Okay.
daffodil. Goodness
Hey,
gracious.
Clara, you killed me.
Claire's been spending too much time on TubeBuddy. Yeah. That's what's happened.
She's not a TubeBuddy user. She's a vidIQ user.
Mike was talking about question colon. Yeah. Anytime I ate a Taco Bell, I would question my colon. Yeah, right then and there. Ooh, man. Yeah. That is growing pains. That's
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
That's self-inflicted pain.
Sometimes it all
Right.
depends.
Okay, it says I got it set up, but it wants me to search for friends. You should be able to X out of it. There should be there's a little window. There's usually a little X in the corner or some way to back out or click somewhere else on the screen. Or you can just add the Artist Haven. You can add us. I don't know. I'm going to have to check on that 10-minute thing. I think that might be because I set up the Discord server as a community. So automatically Discord has certain security settings. And I think that might be one of the automatic ones because I don't remember setting that part up. So TMI, so much TMI.
Clara, it's your fault. Your fault. You started it.
She walked into it, though, really.
Nice to see you, Clara.
Hi, Clara.
Glad you're here.
I need to call you tomorrow, Clara, because I've made some discoveries.
Oh, that's ominous.
No, it's a good thing.
Okay.
So she'll understand. But I you know what? I appreciate. I don't have. Okay, first off, when I don't have words, it means a lot, or it's affecting me a lot. But I do not have words for how awesome y'all are for following us over to Discord.
Aww.
And I just see it being such a better place for us to be because I can set things up in a way where we can really truly build a community. We can build a knowledge base because, all the things that I first put up are things that I've done. Soap making, baking. I'm a certified pastry chef, so I do know how to bake it, even with gluten, even though I shouldn't have it. I still love it. And watercolor, acrylic pouring, acrylic painting, paper art, photography. I mean, I was doing photography when it was still on the rolls of film.
Right. Me too.
Digital.
Me too, Tish.
So
I used to do a lot of photography.
I think everybody has. Yeah.
I miss film, to be honest with you. But
I agree. I enjoy that. Film is really cool.
Yeah. So I think all of us have been there where we're all we've dabbled in everything. One thing that I did not put on there because no one has really talked about it is stained glass. I have done stained glass. I would love, if it were up to me, I would love to do it again, but that is such an expensive hobby because you got to have the kiln and you got to have all the tools and you got to have all these things. And same with pottery. I don't think I put pottery on there either. Those are two that I need to put up there because you can actually do air dry pottery, air dry clay, and do some smaller things with air dry clay. But pottery, I had a mentorship program between my junior and senior year in high school. So, that was my thing for like 3 years. And I loved it. I miss it. Ceramics, just we have so much diversity in not only our art and what we do to create it, but just the people. We're all across the world. Nathan and Sue are Aussies. They're in Australia. Andy's in the UK. We're all across the United States and Canada. So it's so awesome, and I'm so grateful for you all.
Definitely. Well, we can't say thank you enough, and it's just we cherish that you're taking the time, to be here, and things change. Once again, that's growing pains. It's the aspect of life, but we cannot thank you enough. And so, thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Very much so.
Yeah,
no, it's welcome. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm thinking one of the rooms I think I would like to set up is retro technology.
Oh, that sounds fun.
If that sounds good to
I think we should go for it.
Thanks, Karen. Yeah. And anyone else? Because channel I've been watching is a guy that calls himself the 8-bit guy.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And he's been to a lot of conventions, but he's got a strong channel. He's went back and talked about all kinds of different things. Michael, you are in a uniform. You must stand up. No, no, it's the weekend. I'm not standing.
It's the weekend.
He's only got the shirt and the jacket. He doesn't have pants.
Clara, we got a special room for that. Yeah. But anyway, going back to the retro stuff, it's great stuff. Going back and talking about computers and all kinds of equipment and how things evolved. So
there's people who really dig that.
Yeah.
And frankly, every time you talk about radio, I get this like misty feeling. Because I honestly would love to know how radio works. I don't. But I feel like, I don't know, it's something I want to learn. So I'm just, I'm not trying to be persuasive, but
no, I like that. Thank you.
I'm saying, I would be interested in learning how that works. If you're interested in telling us how that works.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna tell you something. It's you talk about growing pains, and I'm gonna share this on a personal level, and I'm gonna be very serious. Losing my father in the year of 2020 and the aspect of how quickly that I lost him due to complications from COVID-19. He had a nickname. We used to call him Big Dad Television. And because he was a pioneer in working in that field, and even with on my mom's side of the family, my grandfather and those guys, they did a lot. And hearing them talk about the evolution of things and talking about where radio used to be where it was at.
Yes.
Everybody got their news, and everybody found out what was going on in the world, and World War II was going on. And if you weren't going to the movie theater and watching those newsreels, you were getting things off of radio. And I remember working for a guy locally, Dutch Dailage, that had a lot of the radio stations around here, W3D, WDDD. And he was wanting me we were testing out a new booth, and we had set things up, and he's like, Michael, go in there and, and let's check some audio levels. And I was like, hello, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. And he was cracking up laughing. He said, where the hell did you get that at? And I said, I got that from my dad. He's like, nice. And, that
is all Rosenthal.
Yeah, that is all Rosenthal. And all kinds of, classic sayings. So, but
Yeah, I think it's an important medium in history, but also it's like it really is. I think what I'm realizing and is that it is highly accessible still.
yeah,
It's still a highly accessible medium that we're just not really using that much. And I think what's brought that realization is frankly my love for podcasts. I love podcasts, and I feel like it's the podcasts of today are the old talk radio
yeah.
in a way. It just evokes that, and it has gotten me thinking about radio for the last couple of years. And I can't help but and I wanted to mention this, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Anytime I'm streaming episodes of The Crown, they refer to the wireless. That's the radio, right? The original wireless was the radio.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it still matters. It's still valuable. Let's use it. Let's use it. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
No, that's great because that's exactly where it's at. Even in the chat, everyone's talking about different aspects of radio and working in broadcasting. Helen was talking about her dad having a reel to reel on a
My
T
dad
act.
had one too.
Yeah, I mean the reel to reel is there at the old house, and Dad would have all kinds of things, and I totally agree with you on the podcast, Karen.
Oh, thanks.
I do. Podcasts are the evolution of where talk radio was at.
Yeah.
And then talk radio went into talk shows. But one guy that and you can still find his stuff on YouTube is it was the Tomorrow Show, Tom Schneider.
Yep.
Tom Schneider, NBC, whenever they were kind of doing late night, and then he got into he was the originator of the late show. And with Tom Schneider, it was just a couple of chairs and like an ashtray, and they'll smoke cigarettes, and they'll talk about life. And like if you like science fiction, Harlan Ellison is one of the best science fiction writers. And there are some outstanding episodes with Tom Schneider and Harlan Ellison, and just and stuff like that. Yeah,
And that can be retrieved on YouTube still?
yes, sure can.
Oh, I will look it up.
Yeah,
I will look that up.
Yeah, I came across some Tom Schneider stuff whenever I was looking up some like retro stuff for Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah.
And they had some of the actors on there. And then I just started in Harlan Ellison had wrote the episode City on the Edge of Forever. And then I started getting into some of the other stuff. And then I started researching Tom Schneider. One of the best things is he inspired David Letterman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's where David Letterman and Tom Schneider would do a talk show, and he would have people call in from all over. And, he'd do this thing like, hey, we got Karen here from Pennsylvania. Karen.
Yeah.
Happy Saturday night. What's going on? And David Letterman would call, and he would do like, hey, Tom, hey, yeah, this is Ralph. I'm going down Interstate 95. I'm doing about 180. I got the gear gamma going. I'm not even using any brakes. So, you know who you need to have on your show? That Al Armstrong. Al Armstrong, first man on the moon. Great guy, Al. And Tom Schneider go, I think you mean Neil. No, I don't know. I don't know no Neil, but Al Armstrong.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Anyway, yeah,
good
stuff.
Good stuff, Michael. Good story.
Thank you.
Well, and we would even watch just the old the dude that you were just talking about, Tom Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Schneider.
We would watch that on YouTube, like the old episodes, and you could see the lines from it being on old video, like a VHS and stuff. And it's just,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's nostalgic too, to see, when somebody was recording something on a VHS. And
Well,
or
and
Oh
beta.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Daniel Batal made a tweet the other day, and he was learning how to play piano, Billy Joel, and he was learning how to play it on the piano, and he broke it down to the steps that he was practicing, and then he put all 3 steps together, and the one little riff from that song made me think of my dad. And he's like, yeah, we listened to that on the bus on the AM radio station. And I'm like, my dad had it on 8-track and on vinyl. And it's like missing that hiss and pop from the vinyl. I actually miss that sound.
No, I totally get it. So I have a little bit of a story. It's personal, but my dad was a big jazz enthusiast for his entire life. And I grew up with jazz 24/7, playing in my home, like from the time I was literally born until, my parents separated. So that was 14 years. Jazz 24/7, as loud as it could go. My dad was a big audiophile, always had good stereo equipment.
Nice.
But he was also an encyclopedia of jazz. He just really he was always buying records. He was always like looking into who the artists were and who they were playing with, and he could just tell you things about people. So long story short, he passed away in 2015. And honestly, I grew up hating jazz because it was like this big loud thing in my life as a child, and it was just not my thing. I had my kids' records and whatever I was listening to that I preferred at the time. So, when he became sick and I would spend time with him, we would be obviously listening to jazz because that's, when my dad was around, there was jazz. It was like the two things went together. So I started buying the CDs that we would listen to when we would spend time together. And then after he passed, I spoke at length with one of his lifelong friends, also a huge jazz enthusiast. We had this really awesome conversation, and he said, okay, I'm going to send you something. And we talked mostly about jazz. We talked about my dad, but we talked about jazz because, again, the two things go together. They were like, just peas and carrots. And so next thing I know, a couple weeks later, this big box comes to my door, and there's like 13 CDs in it. And he literally, because he's another audiophile who has like the best equipment ever, he recorded 13 CDs of jazz music for me. And it was a lot of it was from vinyl. And I knew it was vinyl from the moment I put that CD into the player, because I could hear the texture.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my goodness, I missed this. Like, I didn't even know I was missing it. Like, it was so familiar because I grew up with it. And of course we've been listening to digital music for a number of years, but as soon as I heard that, I knew it was vinyl, and I could hear that texture, and there was just something about it that was just so I don't know, comforting, nostalgic, all those things. So I understand what you say. I understand what you mean when you say you miss vinyl, because there was really just an additional tactile feature to vinyl that I don't think we have with the digital music now. So
Not
anyway,
unless
that was
it's an intentional thing. There's some music where they have it in there as part of as
yes,
a layer.
right.
Well,
and
we were watching the movie Argo last night.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, and we were kind of trying to wind down. Yeah, and so there's a part where they play When the Levee Breaks, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And he takes
Yes.
it's on the turntable, and he puts it on there, and you can hear, as the LP is playing, and like you said, that texture and that static, and and even there's another movie that Sofia Coppola did called The Virgin Suicides.
Yep.
Oh.
And the soundtrack is just amazing. I mean, it's based on a short story book, but it's an amazing movie. It's got a great cast, but the music in it is just awesome. So, but LPs, albums, going to music stores and thumbing through.
Yes.
Yeah,
I miss that.
yeah, absolutely. That's such a warm feeling. Yeah,
I miss the
miss that.
album art, honestly.
Absolutely.
You know, and when you would buy a new, I mean, even when you bought a new CD, okay, CDs came around. I mean, I'm kind of the youngster of the group. When CDs came out, you still got the album art. You still got to like unwrap the frustrating cellophane. And it was an exciting moment because you got to put that in your CD player, listen to it as you thumb through the booklet, or if you were on
Yeah.
LP, you got to, open it up and see all the art. And I don't remember who it was, but they had like a whole book inside the LP. I'm trying to remember who it was.
I mean, there was a couple of bands that did that. I think Pink Floyd might have been one of them. And I know oftentimes I would have, because when I grew up, cassettes were pretty big, and I would buy the cassette for a lot of things. But once I realized that the album, especially double albums, right? If they often had extras that you couldn't get unless you had the LP, and I would actually buy that record twice. I would buy it on cassette and LP just so I could have the extra things.
Exactly, because
And
the
I would
LP
listen
would
to
have
it both ways.
those
Yes.
glossy pages in them.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I
Yeah.
was talking about. They'd have like the
Yeah.
actual book pages in there, and
Yeah.
and just the story behind the music and the lyrics and the cool art and photos of the band and
Showing live,
Oh,
where they had
Yes.
been,
it made it an experience.
And
It
the
was
other thing too was their lyrics. A lot of times the LP would have the lyrics on the sleeve, which I loved. I don't know. I always dug that. That was
because a lot of times that always helped. Like, okay, now
it did.
what was that? What did he say? Electric boobs? Oh,
I am
electric
famous.
boots. That's what it is, not electric boobs.
My claim, I will have you know that my claim to fame in life is that like I always mishear lyrics.
Yeah.
And so like I will go years with thinking that a song says one thing, but it really says something different.
Or I just the lyrics.
So there's a company out there, and I found them on Instagram. Like, you know how you just can't scroll through Instagram without seeing ads like every 2 seconds. But there's this one company out there that makes these mugs with like misheard album lyrics, and it's hilarious because the one that always sticks in my mind is like a Tom Petty verse where they say something like I'm gonna forget it now, but anyway, something about like she loves the real lyric is like she loves Jesus and America too.
Yeah.
And I think the cup says she loves Cheetos and
From Free Falling.
Yeah,
Tom Petty, Free Falling.
And I'm like,
favorite line
is
is
just so identify with
while I
that.
kiss the sky instead of excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Yeah.
Kiss me while I kiss the sky.
There are so many songs like I actually know the lyrics to that particular song, but I just feel like it there are so many other songs I just went years thinking they said something else other than what they actually say. So I'm that person. Raise my hand. Yeah.
I totally understand. No, there's a bunch of Creedence. My dad was a huge Creedence fan, and I was little, and I didn't know what he was saying, so I just make up my own lyrics. And my dad's laughing at me. I'm like, what? So yeah, it's just music,
once again, you can even have lyrics that like my dad liked Irish folk music. And I mean, he loves Scottish bagpipes, and he had LPs with stuff like that. But I mean, the Limelighters was someone, and then then when it go and you're kind of like, okay, I'm not for sure exactly what they're saying there, but you just kind of roll with it. You got to roll with it. Yeah. But oh man. Back in the day, as far as getting the lyrics and just learning how to, I was in band, and then of course, whenever we kind of decided that we wanted to do a garage band, and we're all playing instruments, and I'm, uh, working on guitar chords and so on and so forth, and a buddy of mine, and one of the things that, I mean, Rolling Stones, the Beatles, they were all about Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry was the guy, and
Yes.
so we were all learning Chuck Berry, tunes, and trying to work on those Chuck Berry smack licks. And so I've got, and I'm going through, and I'm mouthing some of the lyrics, and I'm like, too much milk and biscuits or something like that. And my buddy goes, wait a minute, what the hell did you just say? And I said, too much milk and biscuits. He's like, no, it's too much monkey business. He's like, where in the hell did you get milk and biscuits? I'm like, I don't know.
This sounds delicious, actually.
Yeah. Well, don't have too much. Yeah.
I could just totally relate to that.
Just,
While you're listening to CCR
yes.
and Chuck
I
Berry.
gotta tell you, it's funny when you mentioned CCR. I was laughing to myself because my one of my close friends when I was growing up, her dad was a huge CCR fan, and when I mean huge, like I would go over to her house and we would swim in the pool, and her dad would have CCR playing on the boombox like all day. And it's another thing. It's sort of like the jazz. As I got older, I would hear CCR and I'm like, man, this is so good. Like, what was I thinking when I was a kid? Like, this is really good stuff. And how does that happen? I just want to know. But I want to say, like, I really developed my own personal appreciation for it. Despite the fact that we used to make fun of my friend's dad because he loved it, and it was sort of, it was like a cute, it was cute when we were younger and in middle school, but later on I was like, man, these guys are really good. Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, but when we were younger, we're always like making fun. Yeah.
Mhm.
And go like, oh my gosh, I can't believe.
I know, exactly. This is
Yeah,
crazy. This is my
like,
dad's music. This is terrible.
exactly. Old man music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if I ever did that with my dad. My mom, on the other hand, she got in her country kick, and I'm like, no. I mean, grandma and grandpa always listened to country. It was Patsy Cline, Hank Williams Sr.
Okay.
All old school country, and that's always been cool in my book because my grandma was like the coolest lady in my life. So, but it's just like, and I went through a country phase too, but it was like for like a year.
Yeah.
When Garth Brooks was big and Chris Gaines like totally tanked, and I'm like, why? I like Chris Gaines, but but I've always been a metal girl at heart, but I still love Boys to Men and
Oh yeah.
and like In Excess and New
I
Kids
love all the music.
Rock, I like the poppy kind of music because it's fun,
It is. Yeah.
and I love doo-wop music, Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, that kind of beach vibe. I've always loved all the old music, and it's just,
Oh
I don't
man,
know.
Mike Van Duzey's talking about Patsy Cline.
Yes,
I mean, that's good stuff.
Patsy Cline was
She
amazing.
is good stuff.
And just, a lot of great stuff, and once again, that developed a lot of the artists that we saw in the 80s and 90s, especially with the way the country evolved. But my dad loved Jerry Reed.
I love Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed had that connection with Chet Atkins.
Yeah.
And this just played that. Me and Homer Jones and Big John Talley had a crap game going way back in the alley, and I just kept throwing those, those dice and controlling all those pots. Yeah. When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not.
But you brought up a good point earlier when you were talking about the influence of Chuck Berry, because I never really understood the connection there until it was so strange. My husband read the biography of Eric Clapton, And in that, Clapton talks all about the Chuck Berry influence and how much influence it had on him and the Beatles and the Stones. And that just blew my mind because I don't know, I was totally unaware of it until then. It was fascinating to me to just hear about it.
Oh yeah, it is awesome stuff. And once again, that's that's getting back into the history of music progression. The growing pains of everybody that was kind of what they were listening to at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm in corporate America. You go to these meetings, and every single time they want to know your name, they want to know how long you've been with the company. And then they've got some pithy question that they ask you about, like if you were on an island and you could only have one kind of music to listen to.
Metal, baby.
And so for Tish, it'll be New Kids on the Block or something.
No, it would not. I mean, Joey, what was his name? Was it
Joey McIntyre?
Joey McIntyre. Ooh, he was cute. God, golly, Miss Molly, he was cute. But I kind of kept that as a cover because I wanted to be known as like the good girl. And I kept my CDs or my tapes that were like metal type stuff, like.
Tish's front right there.
I had my
I like Joey McIntyre. He's a good boy.
He's so dreamy.
Not Donnie.
No. Donnie was the bad boy. You couldn't be crushing on Donnie or they'd think there was something wrong with you.
His crazy brother, Marky Mark.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? Oh, hell yeah.
Dropping his pants.
Goodness. Still good stuff. Still good.
I was jamming to 90s because I had YouTube music up. And because I paid for premium, might as well use the music part. So before the live stream, I had it jamming and it was just like all these songs. I'm like, oh yeah, Four Non Blondes and Nirvana and just like, I graduated in 92. So that's all like my late teens and early 20s music. So and but I've always been a Queen fan. Always.
I love Queen.
Queen and David Bowie.
Yeah.
Always John Lennon. That's my jam.
Queen's always going to be classic.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So
yeah.
Helen's talking about some classics. Jackson 5, Osmonds, David Cassidy.
Yes. David Cassidy.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
Helen.
Good to see you.
Hey, El Jefe.
El Jefe.
Hello.
El Jefe, welcome.
If you ever want to know anything about headphones or earbuds, that is the man. I'm telling you, he's the man.
Cool. We'll have to have him on one night and talk some tech.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael, I did add the Retro Tech channel to the Discord server while we were live here. So before I forgot. Because you know me and my memory, I had to make sure that.
But I was just going to say to Helen, sometime you get a chance, jump in there when you see Diane, and talk about those days. Because I'm going to throw one out there to you, Helen. Bobby Sherman.
Bobby Sherman.
She loves Bobby Sherman. She
gets all bajiggity about Bobby Sherman.
Diane loves her husband Tony. But there is one man that she might leave Tony for.
Nice.
Bobby Sherman.
Bobby Sherman.
Yeah, anyway.
Oh, she's so cute. She's so
cute.
My
goodness.
That's
adorable.
She's like, don't talk about that. It's so funny. Oh, she gets so, it's funny. She's like the kindest, sweetest person. And you bring up Bobby Sherman. I can hear her blush. Okay.
Oh,
it's so funny.
So cute. Well, if you were on a desert island and you could only listen to one group for the rest of your days, like what would it be?
Disturbed.
Since you brought it up, Michael.
Okay. Tish says Disturbed.
I love his voice. Oh my gosh. His voice just resonates. It's just beautiful. I mean, if you can get past the metal part of it and just hear his voice. The Sound of Silence is a perfect example of it. Their cover of Sound of Silence, especially when they did it live on Conan. If you have not seen that, please
I
do
will
me
look
a
it up.
favor. Go to YouTube and type in Sound of Silence, Disturbed, Conan.
Okay.
And he did it live. There is no auto tune. It'll give you goosebumps. I'm not kidding. It's beautiful. Even Paul Simon was impressed with the cover.
Ooh. Oh, that's impressive.
He was like, yeah, dude.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just beautiful. And
Okay.
and yeah, they get a bad rap because they're metal, but he has pipes and it's just amazing. So yeah. Anyway, but yes, Queen would have to be. I mean, Disturbed popped in my head, but anyway, Michael, sorry.
Yes, Michael.
Wow, man, great question. Great question. Yeah.
I want to guess. I want to guess.
Oh, you want to? Oh, you want an answer?
I want an answer because I want to know if I'm right.
What did you think?
Van Halen.
That would be a good choice, actually.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Early Van Halen.
No, I like Van Halen. You know, as in, my favorite part of Van Halen was when Sammy Hagar came in, and I know that's a tough conversation because
it can be controversial. Yeah.
Yes, very much so, because a lot of people have said, you know, what did you prefer? But to me, I felt like that's when they really grew big time. Yeah.
5150 is
5150.
awesome.
Yeah. Yes. It just, you had a lot of development there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with how Van Halen, you know, was in the beginning, and great stuff. But, you know, it finally got to the point that you could just tell that Eddie was really developing a lot, especially, you know, when they did, what was the album? What was that before 5150?
1984.
1984. Yeah.
Also a really good album, though.
Absolutely.
In the Van Halen years, as opposed to the Van Hagar years. But yes. 1984, one of the best albums ever.
Yeah, very much so. You know, I mean, Diver Down was interesting, and you definitely started hearing some things where Eddie started taking synthesizer and kind of working it in, especially whenever before they transitioned into Pretty Woman. You know, with that, and then of course, getting into 1984, definitely, and they were having hits, but. Yeah, I specifically remember 5150, and matter of fact, the T-shirt that Keanu Reeves wears in Bill and Ted's, that Van Halen T-shirt of 5150. I've got that. That I got at that concert.
Well, that's why I picked Van Halen, because you have like 6 Van Halen shirts.
Yeah, but that's still.
And you when Eddie Van Halen passed away, you were like really truly broken up. Like,
well, but that was the last concert I went to. I went to I did VIP in 2012 for that last concert, and I actually got to be like spitting distance next to Eddie. And
so cool.
The thing that touched me about that concert was that he is so proud of his son Wolfgang.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you could just see this father-son relationship, and you know, we were talking about intimate moments, and I was, you know, talking about my dad, and you could just see a father loving his son, and them performing together, and he'd go up and hug Wolfie, and I would just be like, man, this is what it was all about. I could care nothing about David Lee Roth, you know, being up there, because he just looked. He looks so creepy now at this point. The way he was still trying to act like it was the 70s, and you know, like assless chaps or something. And it's like, dude, you know, you're
Right.
you're
That just
hitting
a
60,
mental
buddy.
picture I did not need to see.
Yeah.
You're not long haired. It's not Dave TV anymore.
I
I'm
never thought
sorry.
he was like good looking, but
Oh
that's
my
just
God.
me.
I never even thought he was, he was just kind of like a, gosh, I'm gonna catch some flack for this, but I feel like I gotta say it. He's just like a circus clown.
A
Kind
little
of.
bit,
Yeah,
Michael.
I,
He
100.
needed
Yeah,
to be the
100.
limelight. He needed to be like the center of attention.
and that was the problem that but hey, he went off and did his own thing, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that's good for artists to do, and so on and so forth. Claire's got to go bye, and
Good night, Clara.
good night, Clara. Yeah, Pink Floyd she was talking about. Yeah,
Oh, Pink Floyd. Yes.
yeah,
See,
definitely.
that's one band I did just really truly discover until like in my 30s. And just I mean, I heard their music. Same with like Grateful Dead and that kind of thing. I never really listened to them until I was in, my mid and late 30s. That's when I really started to discover them and listen to them more. Because my parents didn't have, I mean, they had some Pink Floyd, but no Grateful Dead. What's the other one? Is it the Moody Blues? That one. Yeah, my dad had that album, so that was kind of what I was exposed to. But my parents were more like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles,
Yeah.
the Rolling Stones, December's Child will always and forever be my favorite Rolling Stones album. Because my dad had that on LP, and
yeah, a lot of influences there that we were listening to some Fleetwood Mac and watching some Fleetwood Mac videos not too long ago.
Fleetwood, yes,
yeah, and just the culmination of all of them.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. I mean, artists are artists, and we all know that opinions, personalities can mesh, and then
they can collide.
Yeah, and there's conflict, and that's part of the growing pain right there. Yeah, everybody kind of changes, and then some people are like, yeah, I'm out. And but once again, just like we're talking about with Van Hagar, I mean, I felt like there was a lot of growth there. But even those guys, I mean, they had their moment in time, and then they split. And
they did some really great tunes, Michael. I have to agree with you. I mean, I love the old Van Halen. 1984 is one of my favorite albums of all time. But Van Hagar did some really good stuff, and 5150 was one of those albums that I had on LP and cassette, and I played the crap out of it. It was just still good, and anytime I hear a song off that album, I'm like, yes, it's a very nostalgic moment. Takes me back, feels good, all the feels.
Very much so.
Because it was really good music.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very much. And I mean, best of both worlds, and just different things, and
oh, Elvis on 8-track.
Yes.
That's
yes.
Helen had Carole King on an 8-track and a Volkswagen van.
Carole King is the bomb.
I want one
Helen.
of those. I want a VW bus. I want one so bad.
I do have.
Bring them back. I really do. I just want one. I mean, I have a Scion XB. Come on, it's a toaster with wheels. I love my car. I love my car, and but it's just that.
So if you had to pick either between the Beatles and Elvis,
Beatles,
yeah.
Elvis was
specifically the Rubber Soul or Revolver albums. If I had to like really pick, Beatles, Rubber Soul, or Revolver.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Revolver, definitely.
I like their early stuff too, though. I really do. Like the poppy, happy you know, Can't Buy Me Love kind of stuff. I really like that. And then they got really deep, and I love that too. So it's just like
Yeah, that's
any
it. But that's that evolution once again. I mean, that's where
yeah,
they were evolving as artists, and they they had
the
the
growing
conflict.
pains.
But the White Album was very much where they were individually doing uh, songs, and I'll tell you what. I'll take some pictures of a monument that we have in the little hometown that I grew up and I went to high school, and George Harrison
Yep.
played there. And
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
he actually George Harrison's sister lived here locally.
Oh.
She got a divorce and she ended up coming over this way and in Benton, Illinois. And so at the time, the Beatles had, just cut an album and just pretty much finished up a tour. And it was like 63. And so they were not known here. This was right before the Ed Sullivan Show.
Okay.
So they were on vacation, and he flew into our little neck of the woods here and was hanging out with his sister. And we have a VFW in the little town. It's
oh my
it's
goodness.
El Dorado, Illinois. They pronounce it El Dorado. And he was hanging out there, and he went there to see a band that was playing that night. That was like big time band, and everybody was talking about. Well, they said George is a guitarist. He's not bad. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah. And he got up there and he played.
Cool.
He played some Chuck Berry. And
That's awesome.
And some other stuff. Yeah, so they got a monument there now. But he even bought a guitar here locally from a guitar store in Benton. And whenever he was on the Ed Sullivan Show, that was the guitar he was playing, the one he got
Oh
from
my
Benton,
goodness.
Benton, Illinois. Yeah.
What a great story.
So, yeah, thanks. Yeah, a little connection with the Fab Four. Traveling Wilburys. Yeah, outstanding.
Oh, good
definitely. Stuff. Dancing Queen is stuck in Mike's head.
Yes,
because who doesn't love ABBA?
Carole King and ABBA on A-Track. I'm like, yes! I loved ABBA. When I was a kid, I loved disco. The Bee Gees and ABBA and Gloria Gaynor and just like all of it. I loved it. It was fun.
Oh, yeah, Bee Gees for sure.
Bee Gees were amazing. Are you kidding me? I love disco, and I was a
so do I.
I was little. I mean, like 7.
Yeah,
but it was happy music, and I
still love it. Yeah, Yeah, sometimes if I need a lift at work, sometimes I choose like a pre-prepared disco playlist from one of the streaming music options, and never disappoints.
I love
doing your own playlist of ABBA or Bee Gees or a little of both.
If I had to choose, I'd go Bee Gees.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Both. I couldn't decide. But no, Bee Gees Jive Talkin'. It's the only happy song where a guy is telling a girl basically F you. The happiest song though about it. He's just it's just I giggle because it's just like irony.
My favorite Bee Gees song is the Night Fever. Night Fever is just like that can just change my mood right then. Just a few bars and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that Saturday Night Fever album soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, soundtrack.
Saturday Night Fever is really good.
Xanadu, the movie Xanadu. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I do. And I had the LP for a long time.
Yeah.
And can I just tell you, and this is shameful. I mean, not that I would have known, but I did have the LP because I was at the age when, when I saw it, I was just enamored with Olivia Newton-John and all that. So I held on to my LPs for a long time. And finally, I've moved a number of times, and I decided I had to kind of cull my music collection, just kind of toss some things. And so I held on to some really, um, I would say, things that are sentimental. So I still have some, I mean, I have a box of LPs, but
Amazing.
that's after I culled my collection. And among the albums that I culled was the Xanadu album on LP. And then I discovered like a year ago, like that can fetch you like $7,500.
Wow.
And I just wanted to say, like, I just
It's
was
like,
like kind of
why?
smacking my head.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Why?
What was I thinking?
Exactly. What was I thinking? But yeah, I literally had held on to that for years and years because it did have a sentimental value to me for all that time. And I finally just had to kind of cut some losses at some point. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll let that go. And yeah, big mistake. But who would have known? I mean, really,
Right.
guys.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
I'm going to go ahead and just share this, and I think that I'm going to kind of wrap myself up for the evening.
Yeah, well, we're gonna wrap it up. I just realized how long we've been going.
We've
I've
been
been
going for a bit. Yeah.
This is my iPhone, and this is basically my iPod,
Yeah.
and I just want to show you what I have.
What is it?
I
Hang
can't
on.
see it.
I know we can't see. Hang on, I'm bringing it up.
Is that
Right back.
Xanadu?
That
Oh
is
my
Xan-
goodness.
That is
You
Xanadu.
have it.
I have
Oh my
it.
goodness, you have
Yes.
it.
I knew there was a reason why I loved you.
Michael, you're cool.
Okay,
That's right.
Whoa! I gotta shut this off.
No copyright strike.
Oops.
That's right. That is
No, you
some
can
really
do
good
that.
stuff.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Olivia Newton-John
So-
was like the thing. She
We
was
can
the
do
it
that on
girl
Discord.
and the thing in the 70s, early 80s. She was like, yeah. No, she was the bomb.
Yeah. I was like 7 when she was popular. 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there.
I feel
So
like I want to go do aerobics right now.
well,
With the shiny tights. Only if you put on the shiny tights.
now
That's
I
good. That's going to be another room we're going to have in Discord.
need shiny tight.
Hashtag shiny tights.
Mike Van Doozy is going to bring his tips. Okay. On that note.
On that note.
On that note.
Saved everything from all the movies, concerts, TV shows he worked on. That's so awesome. That, I mean, just to have those little, I don't have anything from my family. I don't have anything from my past. I was dwindled down to a backpack in 2010. So, everything since then, I don't hang on to anything. Like, unless I can use it for something, I don't hang on to it. And
Yeah.
I hang on to pictures that I've saved on the cloud, and I have my memories. So that's, for me, the best that I can have. So
That's good.
but so hang out on Discord with us. I'm going to change all the links to a new, I need to just put the Discord thing on a thing and not generate a new link, because I guess it generates a new link every time you go in there. So I will go around.
I gotta change out of my uniform.
Yeah, he
Okay.
needs some
Yeah,
comfy
'cause-
clothes on.
But props to you for wearing it. I love your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Thumbs up.
Thank you. I'll try
Yes.
to find something else for next
How
time.
about I help you out of
Finish it
that
up.
uniform?
Well, Xanadu.
That's right.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the Discord server or on Wednesday night. for Artapalooza. You guys have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with us. Remember, be kind to one another. Peace, love, and happiness.